Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and sports fans of all kinds. This podcast or video, if you're watching, is Ignorance is Bliss. Welcome. Now, our background real quick. We're a group of friends from a bunch of different backgrounds, came together for a fantasy football league, followed by a basketball fantasy league. And the one thing we love more than sports is talking shit. So thank you for joining us as we dive into both here.
Super facts.
Now, to introduce our wonderful cast, I'm going to pass it over to the ringleader of ignorance, J.E. Breezy Jermaine. Let's do it.
Yo. All right. So once again, welcome everybody. Like Giuliano said, we got a group of guys here that just love to talk smack, love to discuss sports in every way. And the one thing about it is that we love to hate each other and love to hate on each other's perspectives. So I'm gonna start at the top here. My boy Philip Pendress, aka Philly Bounce. Phil, tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Philip. Favorite NFL team is none other than the New England Patriots. Gang, gang. You haters. All right, and the favorite NBA team is none other than the hometown Raptors. Eat it, Jermaine.
Also is. Moving on. Nobody cares about that. Next is the boy DJ Makes Sure, a.k.a. Jack's Not White. He's clear. Jack, what up, boy?
What's up? Yo, favorite NFL team is the Patriots.
And the ignorance has begun.
Fuck the Pats. No, I'm a Ravens fan because, well, they're the best. Let's face it.
Cleveland Browns.
So I was there before Lamar. I just want to set the record straight. I was before the Ray Rice punch, which we were actually just talking about. I was there since the pretty much the beginning of Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
So that was.
Jack is a Joe Flacco fan. In case anyone was wondering.
Don't worry, I went through some bad years. But other than that, Raptors all day. As you can see, gang. Basically, repeat was on. Unfortunately, we're all stuck in this situation, but
okay.
We'll get to that later.
You're done.
Technically.
Yeah, sure.
If the season
Next
canceled,
up on the list
we're
is
back
the
to
boy,
back.
Panky. Talk to us, Panks. Anybody going back to back?
My name is Curtis Pankey. I'm sure most of you are going to refer or hear my last name being used, Pankey. I am a fan of the six-time NFL champion, Super Bowl champion, the Patriots. And I am also a fan of the reigning, defending, undisputed Toronto Raptors.
You are a bastard.
Okay.
Thank you for that illustrious description of your whack-ass perspective. And last but not least, Figgy, what up?
What's going on, y'all?
Keep it short.
I'm from the quarantine capital, New York. You know what I mean? With that being said, I'm a Giants fan. But we got 2 championships, you know what I mean? The last, 12, 13 years. We out here doing it big. Basketball, unfortunately, I'm a Knicks fan, and that's going to remain unfortunate for quite some time. But, I'm also a diehard LeBron fan. So I feel like that makes up for it in some aspect. You know what I mean? So
I think LeBron's being a Knicks fan.
What? That's just terrible, sir.
Well, he was supposed to come to New York, and then James.
No, he wasn't. Shut up. No, he wasn't. He wasn't coming to New York.
All right.
LeBron went to New York to go to Fifth Avenue, and he went back. And then, of course, there's myself. My name is Jermaine, a.k.a. J. Easy Stay Breezy. As you can clearly see, I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan, so I have a clear disdain in my life and in my heart for both Patriots fans, Panky and Philip. I used to be a Raptors fan way back when I first moved to Canada. And then Brian Colangelo ruined all of that. I'll give you some examples of how he ruined that. Anthony Parker. Jack, that's unnecessary, bro. Anthony Parker, Andrea Bargnani, Jorge Garbajosa, Bruno Caboclo, Jonas Valanciunas. All of these things caused me to hate the Raptors.
One person.
Who?
Rafael Arujo.
Oh, sweet.
What about Bargnani? You're not gonna talk about Bargnani?
Positive.
Like, one of our most famous players was sponsored by pasta sauce.
Hey, not just any pasta sauce, man. This is Primo.
Hey,
Primo's trash.
Primo
Shut up. Giuliano tried to
Italians on
convince
this
me
one.
the other day that Primo was good. I'm like,
Italians on this one. That's the smartest
Whatever.
sponsorship I've ever seen.
There you go.
that's
It just
disgusting.
proves in
So,
Toronto.
I'm sorry.
You can
I'm sorry. He
make
got
money
all the Woodbridge
sponsoring
behind him.
anything.
Bro, every Italian I know, if they don't eat their nonna sauce, they go Primo now. Shit works.
Wow.
So Andre Bargnani had all of Woodbridge and Maple behind him, and no one else. Nobody cares. As a basketball fan, I am a diehard LeBron fan, like Figgy said earlier. I've been following LeBron since St. Vincent St. Mary life. And as soon as LeBron leaves, I'm gonna follow Bronny. I will say this though, I will put out one disclaimer. I told you guys this 2 years ago. I repeated it last year. The one way I will return as a Raptors fan is if somehow Masai manages to bring Giannis into the fold. If Giannis comes to Toronto,
I mean,
I'll
somehow.
represent for the squad.
Air weather.
If he brings him, then I'll come back. If he doesn't bring him, then I will forever remember the Jorge Garbajosa days.
Wow.
Sorry.
This guy took
All right, let's talk to him.
personally.
And I will be your moderator, your Ernie Johnson, if you will. The name is Giuliano or Jigs. And just to get my biases on the table, I am a Cowboys fan, which causes me a lot of pain. And I'm a diehard Raptors fan, which is causing me a lot of joy. So things are okay right now.
Yikes.
Back to
Now,
back.
the way it's going to work, each episode, we're going to bring you 2 to 3 discussion topics. These guys are going to give you their very ignorant takes. And I will be here to make sure no one's stepping out of line, no one's repeating themselves, and no one's giving anything stupid.
Before we continue, speaking of stepping out of line, Jigs, you gave yourself a haircut in the last couple of days, right? Yikes.
Oh no.
Sorry, let's move on.
If it looks good from the front, that's all that matters.
Listen, all that matters is the bow tie. The bow tie is all that matters, bro. You good?
He was stepping all the way out of line with that cut. Now you got the bow tie on
Yeah,
baby. You
Why
good.
don't you take your whatever off over there?
I don't want to take it off because I don't want y'all to drown in all these waves right now. I'm still working on some shit.
Okay.
Don't worry about me, bro.
You
So,
mean getting lost in the nappy forest?
Man, do I look like Kevin Durant to you? Talking about nappy. Get out of here, bro.
get started. Our
Yeah.
very first topic of discussion. End of the season NBA awards.
Okay.
Based on the sample we had to go off, whatever, it's about 60 games. I want
Yep.
everyone's MVP, MIP,
Yep.
Rookie of the Year, Sixth Man of the Year, Coach of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay.
So with that being said, I'm going to start off easy. We're going to give it to Panky because he's the most sensible out of everyone here. Panky, let's start with
Sensible.
Panky. Let's start with Defensive Player of the Year. Who are you going to go with?
Defensive player of the year. Oh man. Oh fuck.
Give us a pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to start with Panky.
Yeah, I didn't want to start first.
Go ahead.
Huh?
Who wants to start then?
Hey, I'll tell you right now, Defensive Player of the Year goes to one, he deserves it. Let's be real, he deserves this, but he's the only person that has shut down the whole league. Like, this dude can guard anybody so much so that he guarded the league itself. This guy shut down the league. He shut down broadcasting. He shut down podcasting. He shut down games. He shut down fans. None other than Rudy Gobert himself. He shut down everything. You can't get past Rudy Gobert. You just can't.
Nah,
Somebody
you-
tell me I'm
you
wrong.
can't.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
The French infection.
Or either. So
This guy said the French infection, bro. I'm gonna do you like Trump. Sir, are you Chinese?
Oh no.
Are you from China? Is it from China? Is that what that is?
go one pick for Gobert. Jack, who you feeling?
Defensive player.
Yeah.
Honestly, I gotta go with Giannis. Giannis is my defensive player.
I was
I
gonna
think,
go with Giannis too, but I don't know.
I think this year was tight for defensive. Honestly, I think a lot of centers, usually get the love for that. I think you really can't. The reason why Giannis is also probably going to be among our MVP picks is because he's also that good defensively. That's part of the package. You put him on a court, he's covering everyone. This guy's got arms like 10 feet long. He's everywhere.
Because
Defensive
his
player.
arms are built like fruit roll-ups, bro. Like, you can't.
D'ing everybody up. I hate to say it because they're key competition for the Raptors, but the man is the defensive player of the year. If Kawhi maybe played every game, I'd give it to him, but I think that takes something away from him.
That's fair. That's fair. Phil, I'm gonna throw it to you.
I have to agree with Jack on this, with Giannis being Defensive Player of the Year. Just because he can guard pretty much a lot of positions, long, lengthy, small forward, power forward, whatever position. You can even play him at point guard if anything.
That's a lie. That's a whole lie. Shut up.
Tell that to 2K.
2K don't mean if your ass is shit on the sticks, Giannis can't guard nobody. Giannis is not guarding point guards, bro. Shut it down. Who did he guard as a point guard all season? Who did he guard?
Kyle.
Kyle guarded himself.
Thank you. Thank you. Kyle Lowry is overweight. Okay. You need a new lineup.
We're not at the
Okay.
point we're hating on the Raptors this early, okay?
Nah,
What
not
you
the
mean?
Raptors, just Kyle. Just Kyle.
Hey,
Not the Raptors.
He didn't need to guard Kyle. Kyle, like Figgy said, Kyle guards himself.
I will
we
not
don't
visit it.
let's
Big.
start off the show right. We don't want to weight shame on this podcast. If you want to eat, you can eat.
Go ahead, eat, but
There's nothing better to do.
Kyle Lowry likes to eat. There's nothing wrong with
Kyle
that.
Lowry likes to eat and then get on the court and get ate. Kyle Lowry spends most of his time on his back.
Can
Kyle
I
Lowry remind me
He's
of
taking charges, valuable charges.
lies. You remind me of a chick named Jennifer. Stop playing.
All right. Let's move on.
It's like,
Figs, give me your pick, bro.
I don't know how nobody mentioned him yet. I gotta go to Anthony Davis, man. I gotta go to Anthony Davis.
Because he's always hurt.
I mean, bro, he only missed like 10 games this year. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like he's played way more games than Kawhi has played this year. Like
Yeah, but
He's
Kawhi
he's literally everywhere defensively. Everywhere. You know, he gets blocks, he gets steals, he does everything. Like I've seen him shut down Jokic twice this year.
Yep.
You know, I've seen him shut down Rudy Gobert. Like he shuts down a lot of centers that, you know, are prolific. He shuts these guys down. You know what I mean? Yeah, the numbers speak for themselves. You know, he's also an MVP candidate if you really want to, you know.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
We'll get to MVP soon enough.
No, he's not.
I was
AD,
I was-
MVP candidate.
I was considering Anthony Davis because it's basically him versus Giannis. But like, what gets me about AD is that this year he's averaging the second lowest rebounds of his career right now at 9.4.
He's playing with LeBron, that's why.
LeBron, JaVale. That team gets rebounds, so.
White.
JaVale McGee. JaVale is the GOAT. JaVale is the GOAT for real.
Well, except LeBron, but you can't use JaVale McGee as a way to say that Anthony Davis.
Whatever. They got a boatload of big men on that team. That's all I'm trying to say. But-
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Kuzma out here stealing shine too, so makes sense. But imagine his second lowest is 9.4. Like, that's crazy.
Exactly. That's
That's
like
crazy.
that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Your pick?
I think it's gonna be Giannis. I mean, when you look at like just the ascension, like we keep talking about, and the number that I've been looking at is like he has the top defensive rating in the league. Now I don't know how you guys view like advanced stats and stuff like that, but like that's a pretty big one, and he has the highest net rating also. So he's doing it on both ends. I think he's gonna get DPOY because I don't think he's gonna get MVP. I'll hint at that.
I agree.
But I think he gets DPOY because I don't think the voting is going to allow him to not have an award this year.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
he's putting up stupid numbers again, and every year he gets literally bigger physically and bigger on the stat sheet. And I mean, I have Greek background, so I'm very biased, but he's going to come home with hardware, and it's going to be DPOY. I think.
Okay.
Before we move on,
Well,
anyone who's been watching, you can see I actually wrote Giannis first. But so I see where you're all coming from, but Rudy Gobert still takes the cake.
All right.
I got it.
So
He's also going to shut down the Utah Jazz, apparently.
the
Hey, he's shutting on everybody.
Raptors fan of me wants to give Siakam a shout out here, but Giannis is my pick.
All right.
Give Siakam a shout at what?
He's a very versatile defender, he's got good length, and he's just starting, bro. He's gonna be a great defensive player down the line. But
Yeah.
we'll say so that's 4 picks for Giannis, 1 for Gobert, and 1 for AD. I will say defensive player of the year will probably one of the tightest races of these this year. But moving on, we're gonna go to Coach of the Year. I'm gonna start with Phil on this.
Well, it's a no-brainer, Nick Nurse.
How?
Back.
Like, shut up, bro.
What do you mean?
How?
Everyone expected the Raptors to not be a top team or in the middle of the Eastern Conference. And where are they right now? Before the shutdown, they were second.
It's Nurse, and it's a landslide.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
unless y'all
exactly.
just
When you take championship hangover, right? You lose your best player on a championship team. Okay? When you got dudes like washed up Rondé Hollis Jefferson.
Whoa,
Budenholzer has
how is he
the
washed up? How
When
is
you
he
got
washed
dudes
up?
like that, when you
man,
get dudes
and
like
all
that
of
coming
us, he's not
together,
washed up.
playing motivated every single night, when you have that level of motivation from everyone on your bench to come in, Chris, like carrying that water, Bobby Boucher baby, coming out, motivated every single night. That is what good coaching looks like right there.
Yeah, that's what good assistant coaching looks like. For anyone who played sports
Okay, Jermaine,
consistently,
you sound so heated.
anyone who plays sports consistently throughout high school, university, elementary school, don't matter. Everybody knows the head coach is all about strategy and team organization. It's the assistant coaches that are all about motivating the team and organizing team morale and, team cohesion, all that. Nick Nurse is not the reason the Raptors come together and play well. Let's shut that shit down right now. All right?
Defensively, yes.
Fine.
If you look at their rotations, a lot of the NBA, like top NBA players, are saying that it's not one person who's the hardest to beat. It's a whole team.
That's fine. That's fair.
Yeah.
I'll give you why Nick Nurse is in the top 5. I get that. His strategies are great. His defensive system is great. But he's not the coach
of the year.
All right, I got 2 options, okay? First is Mike Budenholzer, just simply because, the Bucks are doing things that, we just can't really explain. If you really think about who their second best player is, Chris Middleton's not that great. He's good, but he's not great.
Underrated.
100% underrated. He's like the second coming of Michael Redd. He's okay, but he's not really we're not there. You wouldn't consider them a dynamic duo. Nobody looks at Giannis and Chris and says, "Oh, they're a dynamic duo." They're not Kobe and Shaq. They're not LeBron and Wade. They're not MJ and Scottie Pippen. They're just 2 guys who play ball, right?
The only reason that is because Chris Middleton looks like a malnourished child that you see in those World Vision commercials.
Oh.
Unfortunate. But it's true.
All right, 2 minutes.
Don't do that.
2 minutes.
So he's in the penalty box. So I say Mike, and then I say Frank Vogel because last year the Lakers had a shit situation. Hold on. All they did was add AD to the mix. Now let's think about it for a second. They didn't add any big names after AD, okay? But all of a sudden you got JaVale McGee playing his best ball. You got Kuzma playing his best ball. LeBron James is literally sitting in year 17, and he's playing the best we've seen him play in the last decade. And AD is not solely responsible for that, but you have to understand how Vogel took his team, built up the system around them that makes them a championship caliber squad. Last year, they had none of that. This year, all of a sudden, they clicked and they made it work.
So how did Vogel build that system, but Nick Nurse didn't build the system for Tom?
No. I didn't say Nick Nurse didn't build the system. Remember, based on the description, y'all were talking about how you said, playoff hangover and, motivation. That I said that ain't got shit to do with Nick Nurse. His defensive system that Philip mentioned, I said, yes, that's the head coach. But when you talk about motivation, all that stuff, that's assistant coaches and all that.
You've made this point. We're going to move on.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. You got a coach here for me?
It's Nick Nurse. I wrote an article about this whole thing and about which people were going to go, who the competition was. And the biggest thing about the Raptors this year, we talk about the rotation, the defensive stats, those are fantastic. But the big thing was that the Raptors were in the top 5 of man games missed, games lost to injury. And yes, the assistant coaches are a big part of that, but it's still the head coach that puts these people in place and instills the overall vision. So there were 4 teams ahead of the Raptors that had more games missed due to injury on their players. Those teams were Detroit, Washington, Portland, and Golden State. And those teams were miles out of the playoffs, and the Raptors are in the top 2, 3 in the East still. When it comes to Budenholzer, I mean, yes, a compelling case can be made that he should win Coach of the Year because the Bucks are still a top team, and it's for the most part Giannis and friends still. But going back to voting in history, because a big part of that is voting. No NBA coach has ever won back-to-back Coach of the Year awards. So is what Budenholzer's done that special to where he could be the first person to win back-to-back Coach of the Year awards? I don't know.
Yes.
And as far as Frank Vogel goes, I don't like bringing in Anthony Davis and making LeBron very happy is not something he did. That's what the front office did in the Lakers. And I mean, quite frankly, everything runs through LeBron more so than Vogel, in my opinion. And I don't think Vogel's going to win it. I think it's basically Budenholzer versus Nurse. I think the case could be made also for Billy Donovan and OKC, because that was a team that was left for dead and has been like overachieving, but it's going to be Nurse for me.
Billy Donovan. Everything you said got erased when you said Billy Donovan. Everything.
Right. Just a quick note. Let's make these bits a little tighter because we're going really long on time. But Figs, who's your Coach of the Year?
I was actually torn between Frank Vogel and Nick Nurse, but I think I got to lean towards Nick Nurse, because the Raptors, you just got to look at the Raptors' record, bro. You got to realize they had Kawhi Leonard. He left. Everybody expected them to make the playoffs because the East is the weaker conference, but second in the East, come on, man. Like, I'm not a Raptors fan. I don't like them any more than the next guy likes them. But I got to be real here. It's got to go to Nick Nurse. To Nick Nurse. The reason I was considering Frank Vogel is because the Lakers are one of the best defenses in the league. And if you look back to that Indiana team in 2012 and 2013, he was a large part of the reason why their defense was so good. Yep. So for him to just take the position and the Lakers automatically become one of the best defenses. I mean, of course, Anthony Davis has something to do with that, but just the way they play defense, period, it has a lot to do with Frank Vogel. But like I said, I got to.
Just a quick note on coaching in general. You got in the NBA, it feels like the teams that really transcend coaching, the ones that they seem they don't even need to be coached. The Golden State Warriors, right? Just let them go out and play. They can just do it. LA has that feel. You got LeBron and Anthony Davis. What do you really, really need to do with those type of intelligent, high-level players? Nick Nurse, not saying that the Raptors aren't intelligent, but look at the talent disparity between those teams. You need a real coach to actually elevate that team to the level it's at, and that's why it's clearly Nick Nurse.
I agree.
I will say Nurse is definitely my choice as well. Just to think you lose 2 starters, you deal with the boatload of injuries. And I think back to that game where they beat the Lakers in LA with like 3 starters missing. So, that's all coaching when you think about it. When you got Boucher and RHJ being the ones bringing home that type of win. So yeah, we're gonna move on to 6th man of the year. And I'm gonna start with Figs. Who do you think?
6th man of the year. I actually gotta go with Dennis Schroeder.
Okay.
Nobody expected OKC to have the record that they have as well. I could kind of compare them to the Raptors in that aspect. Especially when Westbrook and Paul George left, everybody figured out Chris Paul is on an island by himself, and Schroeder's been playing some really big minutes, man. Like he's been winning a lot of games for them down the stretch as well. I don't think anybody saw that coming.
Yeah.
So I think 6th man of the year has to go to Schroeder, in my opinion.
Jack?
6th man, I'm going, loved him at Louisville. He was a beast. Love him in the NBA, still a beast. Montrezl Harrell. Dude's a monster. Kawhi and Paul George, it almost feels like they haven't really played this year. Like, I don't know if you guys feel the same way. Just we haven't really seen that string of both of them playing at the same time for a consecutive 2 months or something. it seems like the Clippers are still doing well because of Montrez, Lou Williams, those guys. So that's my pick.
Thanks.
I gotta go with Schroeder. Like Vic said, OKC was a team that was like, I know the Raptors were left for dead. OKC was properly left for dead when they traded the farm and have like 20 draft picks in the next like couple of years. And I know like, and on top of that, like you expected like them to be falling apart. Chris Paul was like, oh, there were rumors that like he didn't want to be there or how well he'd actually play. And Shea has stepped up really well, but Schroeder has been like, he was number 2 with like Westbrook as like another off the bench guy, and this year he's averaging 19 points a game, which is like his second highest he's ever scored. I gotta go with Schroeder. He's been a very big surprise this year, on top of a surprising OKC team.
All right. Phil, 6 man.
I'm gonna go with Schroeder again. Based on numbers coming off the bench, this man's averaging 19 points a game, almost 4 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting about 47% from the field and 38% from 3. Again, when OKC traded basically their entire roster except Steven Adams, they were expected to not do so well in the West, but with guys coming in like Chris Paul, Shai, they've been carrying a lot of the load. But then when you have a guy like Dennis Schroeder coming off the bench shooting so well for you, for when one of your 2 point guards are struggling, that's a big asset to have.
Jay?
Hey, man, everyone's already said it. Schroeder, that one's kind of a no-brainer. OKC has no one. They have Chris Paul and they have Dennis Schroeder, and Schroeder is killing it. I actually can't name you the full starting lineup in OKC right now, but I can name you Chris Paul and I can name you their 6th man. That's all that matters.
All right. I think Schroeder's an excellent pick. I might go Harold myself. That energy, I think, does more for the Clippers, especially with all that load management. But Schroeder, I think, is an excellent pick and is very deserving. Rookie of the year. I think it's going to be fun. Gee, because I know you're going to have a hot take.
What's that?
I know you're going to have a hot take. Lead us off.
All right. It's not really a hot take, man. This goes without saying. And the reason I put it this way is because, okay, everybody's going to say Zion, right? And if Zion didn't get injured, sure, he would have came in as the rookie of the year. But Zion came in with hype. He came in with that flair, and everyone expected him to be great. So when he came out, he had a couple of great moments. People, they inflated that. They inflated it the same way they inflate Michael Jordan's playoff success. Ja Morant, on the other hand, dude came in and was like, yes, he came in with a little bit of hype, but he lived up to the hype from the start to the finish. Like, he's just doing it. And when it comes down to, like, presenting yourself as a player who is not a rookie, Zion isn't leading his team. Zion is a part of a well-oiled machine because you still got Brandon Ingram, you still got Zoe doing his thing, but Ja leads his team, and he came in and said, "This is my squad. I am the owner of this team. I am the number 1 player here, and everything runs through me." He reminds me of when LeBron came in. LeBron went into the Cavs and said, "This is my house now." He reminds me of when Dwayne Wade came in. Dwayne went to Miami and said, "This is my house now." Zion didn't go to the Pelicans and say, "This is my house." Zion said, "I hope that I can fill Anthony Davis's shoes." You know what I mean? But Ja walked in and said, "This is mine. Everything goes through me. If you want to take a shit, ask me first, and I'll tell you how many rolls of toilet paper you're going to need." Like, he owns that shit, and he's running the show. And there's no other rookie in the league right now that can look up and say, "Yeah, we deserve to be counted amongst a great like Ja right now." So I'm going to go with Ja Morant.
Biggs.
I think it's a no-brainer as well. It's got to be Ja, only because Zion got hurt. But I'll tell you right now, if Zion Williamson played this whole entire season, it would be Zion without a question.
Oh, facts.
Because
I agree.
what he has done in his short stint in New Orleans is incredible. It's probably
But, you know,
the best we've seen since, LeBron came out.
that's a
Honestly.
fact. But part of his problem is that he's so heavy, and his game style is not going to allow him to be. He won't have longevity. Dude is 285 pounds. All he does is jump around. Like, bro, lose 20 pounds.
I agree.
Like, you in the NBA now. You don't.
He does
And you
need to lose
already
some weight.
have knee injuries. You already have knee problems. Lose
We'll
20
get to
pounds.
the future. We'll see what comes of them, but we're just looking at rookie seasons, man.
The man likes to eat. No weight shit. The man likes his biscuit.
Equal sizes, eh?
His hot butter biscuit. Jack like them big girls. That's why. never mind the fact that his wife is built like an Eastern European model. He's still like them big girls, so don't play. I see you, Jack.
You gotta have that cushion. Who's going? I'll go. It's Ja, so we can move on. It's Ja for sure.
Yeah,
It wouldn't
Ja.
be Zion, it's
Facts. I like that.
Are we all on Ja here?
It's
We all are
definitely.
it's Ja.
It's definitely Ja.
He's
Ja
second
Lo.
scoring behind Zion, and Zion's only played 19 games. And he leads rookies in assists as well by
Gang,
a
gang.
long shot.
I was
You
hoping
could-
for a hot take from one of you, but I guess Ja's unanimous. I will say this: had the season not ended early, and if Zion was able to get the Pelicans into the playoffs on a last push, he might get it. But if
I agree.
we have, it's definitely Ja.
I think he would have got it just based on hype and pedigree. They'd be like, yeah, it's Zion, because Zion. They expected him to do it, and then if he did, they'd be like, yeah, of course. But
No,
Ja
but
just did better.
given how long he was injured, if he came in, finished the season, and pushed the Pelicans into the playoffs in that, like, what, 2/3 the season for him, it would have been?
Yeah.
That'd be a perfect case. But we'll move on to most improved player. And I'll have Jack start us off.
Most improved player. I'm actually gonna go. I'm actually curious what you guys all is, but I'm gonna go with Luka Doncic.
Really?
It's
Okay.
when you really look. The reason I chose this I looked at the stats a little bit, and popular candidates. You know, you got guys like Bam. One of the guys that I actually was my choice before I looked into it was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Canadian, repping what up. But if you look at that, those guys both had a significant increase in minutes played. They started playing 10 more minutes a game. That's going to help you in the NBA if you're talented. Luka is playing 1 more minute a game, but now he's an ultra megastar. He was 21 points a game. Now he's 28, things like that. He elevated without even playing more time. That's why I give it to him.
Phil.
I'm going with Bam Adebayo. Only because he's kind of shown himself compared to last year. 8-point increase, 3 rebounds more this year than last year. A heavy load of minutes. Was that last year he was playing about 23 minutes a game, and he's up to 34, which kind of speaks that he's an asset on the court for the Heat for them to be successful and win. Not only that, he's like physical specimen, getting an interior presence, blocking, getting all these crazy rebounds and all that stuff.
He's a monster.
Biggs?
This might surprise a lot of you guys. I got to go with Montrezl Harrell. I gotta go with Montrez. Montrez had a good year last year, and he showed flashes of greatness. But what that guy's been able to do this year, I think, is a big part of the reason the Clippers' record is so good. You know what I mean? And it's the reason they've been able to stay afloat, you know, with Paul George being out so long and Kawhi playing his load management game. Yeah, Montrez, man, he's a beast in the paint. Plus, he plays excellent defense. You know what I mean? I think he gives the team a huge boost. Yeah, I gotta go Trez.
For me, there's 3 guys that you could consider, I think. The third one's going to be a hot take. The first one is Luka. The second one is Bam. And the third one, I don't think it would ever happen because it hasn't happened. I think a case could be made. Homer Siakam has jumped up significantly again and could be a finalist at the very least. But I think it would be Luka. but I would want it to be Siakam to be a back-to-back six-man because he went from a no-name to a number 2 in Toronto last year on a championship team, and now he's moved into the number 1 option on the defending team that is still a top team in the East. And he's gone up like 6.6 points per game since last year. He's up on rebounds. He's up on assists. He's up on steals. He's up on blocks. And he's proven that it's not a one-hit wonder for him. And whereas Luka was a star from year 1. Bam, it could be a flash in the pan. I'm not sure with all due respect. But I would love to see Siakam be a back-to-back Most Improved Player award because there were MVP talks very briefly early on because no one expected him for the Raptors to come out flying. So I'm gonna say Siakam. Why not?
Yup. Hey, very seldom do I tip my hat to a Raptor. But I'm going Spicy P. I'm going Spicy P right out the gate. I don't think Luka deserves MIP because Luka was banged from the jump. Like Luka had Rookie of the Year written all over him. Like we all expected Luka to be great, and he came in and was great. Like he came in and led the league or led his team from the moment he stepped on the court. There was no question about that. Spicy P came in. First year, he averaged 4.2 points. Second year, he averaged 7.3. Last year, he won MIP, averaging 17 points a game. But you got to understand that averaging 17 points a game when you have Kawhi on your wing, you have Lowry running the point, you have Danny Green drawing defenses out to the 3-point line, it's not that difficult. As a 6'6" plus NBA caliber athlete, yes, he averaged 17 points, and that was good because they spaced the floor really well and they were a championship team. What no one expected, myself included, and I can reference when Jack, when you came to Toronto last, me and you, Panky, sat down at the Puck. RIP if they get shut down. We sat at the Puck and we talked about it watching the first game, and I said there is no way in hell that Siakam's going to lead this team. He just doesn't have it. Well, now I have to sit here like an idiot and say, well, I was wrong because I'm pretty sure that night he put up like 42 points, and then he put up a couple of 40-pointers, I think 2 or 3 50-point games. Like, dude was killing it. Like Siakam has everything to say, this is my team. Kawhi left, and I'm the new guy. And it was almost like the Raptors didn't miss a beat. You lose arguably, one of the top 10 best players in the history of basketball, arguably. And then some random dude named Spicy P steps up and says, it's fine, we got this. The way I look at it, like, yes, he improved a lot between year 2 and year 3, but his ascension to this year, it took him from, yeah, I'm a good basketball player and I can help my team win a championship, to I am the guy. And that, to me, deserves a back-to-back MIP.
Last year though, Siakam was what? A top 30 player in the NBA? What is he this year? A top
5.
Top 5.
I would give Siakam top 5 because you got to think about it. Think about it, right? When you look at the team record, the team dynamic, which players in the NBA have ultimately guided their team on their own? When I say on their own, they're the undisputed best on the team. When you look at LeBron, yes, LeBron is the man. LeBron is the man, but LeBron has AD. You look at Kawhi, yes, Kawhi is the man, but Kawhi has PG. The next best player on the Raptors lineup right now, like you said, you got washed up Hollis Jefferson. You got, as far as I'm concerned, overrated Kyle Lowry.
Wow.
Pascal, he's overrated. Jigs, keep them eyes to yourself. He overrated. But you got Pascal doing things that we did not expect.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of Raptors fandom, no one expected him to step up and be like, "Yo, I'm the new guy."
The thing is, though, Luka Doncic went from a star to what you were saying, a top 5 player. So you get the same type of thing. He was playing.
But we always knew he was gonna do that.
Let me finish. What you got though? You got an increase for Luka. He's averaging 7.5 more points per game, similar to Pascal. Pascal's field goal percentage, 45% compared to 55 last year. Luka went up. Luka went up from 42 to 46. Okay? He's gotten better, way, way better, more efficient. And he's a superstar now.
I just want to say one thing. If you guys are considering Luka, you got to consider Trae Young because Trae Young did the same exact thing.
Exactly. And that's the thing. My thing is, like, you can't consider them dudes because they came out the gate playing ball. That's like saying LeBron deserved MIP in 2005. No, he didn't. We knew he was going to be great. That's called a growth curve. We expected that growth, and we saw it play out. Pascal, no one expected this shit. He just blew up.
So I'm gonna call it here. I will say this category has a lot of good names that can be used. One name I didn't hear that I think should be mentioned at least is Sabonis. Sabonis had a very surprising season.
Yep.
Go Lithuania. What's up?
Shout out to my fantasy roster. Sabonis was killing it for the boy.
Myself, I'm gonna go with Bam, just based on the fact that this man had no expectations of what he actually managed to achieve this year. Reminds me a lot of like what he did this year alongside Butler. Reminds me of what Siakam was able to do last year alongside Kawhi. So
yeah, I can see that.
It might be a flash in the pan. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I think he's deserving. All
Okay.
right, finally, MVP, and this one I'll let you guys determine your order. Whoever wants to go first and get it out of the way.
LeBron, shut it down. LeBron.
All right, I felt that one.
Get off his nuts.
LeBron, get him up. It's LeBron, coach. It's LeBron. Let's go.
We should see that coming because according to Jay, LeBron is the MVP every year, including last year.
Every year. LeBron has been the MVP every year since 2009, bro. No one else deserved MVP after LeBron.
You just spent time talking about malnourished Chris Middleton, how he's not anyone like a dynamic duo. Giannis has nobody. LeBron's got AD.
Sure.
LeBron's got JaVale McGee. Nah, it's Giannis.
Giannis has nobody. I wouldn't say all that. No.
Look, listen. LeBron, the biggest knock on LeBron's career is that he elevated himself to a point where the fans, the coaches, the players, the voters, whoever, the only way LeBron can win is if he bests himself. LeBron isn't competing with other people in the league. James Harden does not deserve MVP under any circumstances because we all know to be the best player in the league, you got to be the best player on your own team. When Chris Paul went down, James Harden went down in the playoffs. We all saw that, right? James Harden is the best scorer. I don't understand why we don't have the scoring title anymore because James Harden should be winning the scoring title, but not MVP. Giannis, okay, you know what? Last year, Giannis won the MVP and he deserved it because he killed it. But LeBron James has been unequivocal in his pursuit of excellence for himself.
For his age.
Okay.
For himself. for the last 13 years.
Fandom here. Phil, give me your MVP.
I'm actually going to go with Jay on this and say LeBron because probably the last 6 weeks before the league was shut down, the Lakers were hitting another gear versus where Milwaukee was just like, all right,
they were coasting.
Yeah,
we're
going to close. We're going to keep our play the same until playoffs and see what happens. But then when the Lakers, their game has been kind of elevating before the shutdown, and I think it was their year this year to win the title.
Yep.
It was their year, for sure.
Absolutely. And that's why the Raptors can't go back-to-back.
Jack, you're with Giannis, right? As you mentioned.
Yeah, it's got to be Giannis for me. I think, I think the stats speak for themselves, and I think that his dominance and the fact that they're the 1 seed, coupled with the fact that he doesn't have another top 5 player with him, it's of course LeBron's been amazing. He's amazing, of course. I'm not, I watch basketball. I have eyes. LeBron's amazing, but Giannis is the MVP. That's what it is.
Thank you.
It hurts me a little bit because I don't want to hear Jermaine and Figs go off on this, but it's LeBron. I looked this up before it was gonna be my pick regardless. He was gonna be my pick. Do you guys know when the last time LeBron won MVP was? I know Figs and Jermaine probably know this, but like, you guys
Talk to him, boy.
It was 2013 when he
Wow.
was on the Heat.
Imagine that. 7 years ago, LeBron James won MVP. And this 7 years later, he's still the best player in the league.
Like statistically, he's having an incredible year for any 35-year-old that's ever played. And again, I like to look when it comes to voting, because sometimes voting is very flawed. When you look at just the pattern of things, it's going to be one of those things where he deserves it, but he's also due to get the award again, because you can't be the best player in the league and in the world and then go 7 years without winning another MVP.
You guys
Exactly.
you're acting like you feel sorry for LeBron, like he hasn't had enough success in his life. Like he's the second best player this year.
We all very know.
Shut up about second best.
We all know LeBron manages his health, his body very well, and that MVP isn't his objective. Championships are. So I don't think, these slow starts and then ramping up for the playoffs is, coincidental. Like, it's obviously his intention because that's what matters to him. But Figs, who's your pick?
I'm gonna go with LeBron, man. He's averaging 25-7. He's averaging 10 assists. He's leading the league in assists at 35 years old while averaging 25 points. You know what I mean? Like, now I want to say something about Giannis. When LeBron was in the East and dominating, the East is the weaker conference, because that's always the narrative for LeBron. So why can't we say the same thing about Giannis right now?
Because the East is better. The East
No,
is way
it's
better.
not. It's not.
No, it's not.
It's not.
You got the top. You got
It's
four
not.
teams at the top of the East, and then landslide.
The
I
East
said way better than before.
The East
Yeah,
is
I wouldn't
better
say
now than
that
it's
either.
ever been while LeBron was leading in the East.
I wouldn't say that.
Come
Wouldn't
on,
say
no, it's not. Don't do that.
It's
Don't
But
do that.
here's the thing, though.
Before
You know what I
he
mean?
would be like a
They also said that, LeBron wouldn't be able to dominate if he went to the Western Conference. Now he's in the Western Conference and they're number one in the West. Anybody else got anything to say? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like,
Well, I'm just gonna say it could go to LeBron or Giannis. Both are deserving. The way LeBron would have ended this season, I think he would have been the hands-down winner if we got the rest of the season played out. Because as everyone mentioned, he was definitely gearing up for playoffs. But Giannis just doesn't have a number two on an AD caliber. They both have well-coached, deep teams, veteran presence. They're smart players that surround all of them. I think they've got very similar situations going on. But if you gave Giannis an AD, I think his assists might go up, and you see sort of some of those adverse effects that would come the same way.
My issue with that statement is that Giannis doesn't have the vision LeBron has.
No, he doesn't.
So AD or not, his assists won't go up.
Or not as high as you think it would.
But the thing
Yeah,
is,
like maybe he'll increase by like
also like to
an
look-
assist and a half a game. But you gotta look, like LeBron is 35 years old. He's 6'8", he's 250 plus, and he's beating dudes like Chris Paul, Zoe. He's beating. I mean, Steph just came back. But Figgy and I had this discussion a little while back. He's beating dudes like Draymond Green. He's beating all the passers in the league in assists.
also, he's been killing people with one move all year. To look at the hand three, yeah, he's been doing that all
That shit
year.
is crazy. Like,
He's been
you
killing
gotta be
people.
to look at this shit and then go, I bet. Like, that's just Giannis. Giannis is great because of his ability to create space and his ability to claim space. What I mean by claim space is that the man's wingspan is 7'6".
yeah.
If Giannis does this to you, Giannis was the best. What's that game called? Rover, whatever. Calling you over that game. That dude, he probably killed that shit in elementary school because you couldn't get past them. This nigga could put his arms up and call himself the Great Wall of the USA. Like, come on, bro.
That sounds like a really valuable feature to have.
Of course, it's valuable. You're not wrong at all. But again, LeBron doesn't have that level of physical prowess. That level. I'm not saying LeBron doesn't have physical prowess because I believe he's the best athlete, period, in the world across any sport. But when you look at it, like LeBron, his skill set is what makes him the best player in the league.
All right, I'm gonna call for a wrap there because we do have to move on. But just to
Really quick. Sorry to do that, Jigs.
Go ahead.
Just curious, quick. Who's number 3? Who's third? We got those two at the top. Who would you put third?
Paul George.
What?
Wow.
What?
Hasn't played enough games. He hasn't played enough games. Anthony Davis.
Moderator, but no. Come on.
Paul George. Paul George.
Bro, Anthony Davis is
Why
averaging
is more
27 and 9.
AD's
Like, are you
more
serious?
Siakam's more deserving of third.
Siakam ain't deserving of shit. Shut that down.
Devin Booker's more deserving of third. Are you kidding?
Devin Booker.
What does Paul George play? 30 games this year?
Devin Booker, bro.
Bro, I'm just saying, Paul George didn't even make the All-Star game. You think he's third best in the league?
Because he was hurt.
Exactly. That's why he can't be third, because he was hurt.
It's
Yeah.
Luka.
You got to take the season. I'm not talking these.
I'll take Luka. I'll take Luka.
Luka Doncic for sure is third.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
So just in summation, MVP, we're all LeBron leaning mostly. MIP, Bam Siakam mix. Unanimous Ja for Rookie of the Year. Overwhelmingly Schroeder for sixth man. Nurse for coach. And Giannis for defensive player of the year.
Nurse not for coach. Let's chill on that. But whatever.
Working
Let's chill on that.
So this would be a good time for a break. If anyone's listening and you want to sponsor us, give me a shout.
Yeah, let's sponsor the Negro College Fund, a.k.a. Negroes Ain't Got No Work, a.k.a. we out here doing nothing. You know, hit me up.
Actually, I gotta get the laptop charged. I'll be right back quickly.
Figgy got Cash App. I got PayPal. You know, we out here.
Sponsors that ship internationally. I need international shipping for sponsorships. If you want to
Western
up
Union,
European
whatever.
markets, I'm out
Sorry,
here.
we don't sell currency in goats here. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
A sacrifice
Second
of
topic
you
of
this
discussion.
morning. So,
NFL offseason trends. Tell me who you think, what teams, what players are going to make some impact for their team when the season starts. So we can.
Before we continue, this recording is going on to it's 1:58. We started at like 1:10, so we're looking at 48 minutes already.
I thought it was limited.
Say again? No, it's unlimited. That's not the point. The point is we wanna keep it to like half hour splits.
Well, because people got so much to do right now.
Well, I'm leaving the house, so
Well,
I got something to do right now.
Right. Things that are easily digestible are better. We can maybe cut this up into 2 episodes.
Yeah, I would say cut up into 2. So what we can do is we can say for every episode we'll have 2 discussion points, and if one discussion point goes extra long, then we'll say we'll earmark this one for the next discussion.
Also,
Tell people what it is, and then come back to it next week.
we'll get into a better rhythm as we do this more and more.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And
I
it's
got an idea.
of us needing to talk, we're going to take time on subjects. So how about we keep the NFL topic for a later discussion? We make today.
We'll earmark
That
it.
sounds
We'll
good.
come back to it. We'll come back to it next week, because that will give us some time to look into some more trends, to see if any other big changes happens in the league. Because as of right now, it's clear to see that the Atlanta Falcons are about to win the Super Bowl, but we don't know that for
Shut
certain.
it down. Shut
Where have
it
I
down.
heard that
let's-
I
before?
think you need a nap right now. I
You
think
know what?
Nigga said I need a nap.
They're not going to do that.
One thing that I was thinking, because we're mostly going to be focusing on what we follow, NBA, NFL, and just general sports ignorance. But so we should try to at least touch both leagues each time. You know, at least a little touch on each show. Like
I agree.
Like that. I don't know.
You know what it was? This show, it was the intros, right? Like, we're not going to do intros every show. We're not going to do all that every show.
Yeah.
So,
We don't have to touch both leagues every show. As long as there's something to discuss, then obviously we should touch both.
Yeah.
The thing is, we're just starting. There's a lot of stuff we want to talk about, so we kind of got to pace it.
Yep.
So
All right.
today
So-
with the intros, you know, the NBA awards wasn't going to be a quick discussion anyway. 6 awards, 6
Of course
people
not.
picking each.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
if we wrap today with just the fun NBA discussion, and then next episode we can have an NFL straight. You know, we'll talk draft, we'll talk trades, free agent signings, fucking jersey reveals. I didn't.
I like
So when we doing this next one? Tomorrow? What's up?
Yeah.
I mean, hey, talk to Mountain Man over there. As long as the great Goat Warrior is good to go, we can do it tomorrow.
Let's do it tomorrow.
All right, bet.
Tomorrow, I got lunch at my mom's. We'll see.
After that.
Okay,
Well, I don't
cool,
know how
cool.
late. What time?
Before
How
that.
many hours ahead are you?
Or before that? Yeah, before that.
How many hours ahead of you, Jack?
7. I can do until about 2, 3 p.m.
Okay. Yeah.
What time is it right now? What time is it right now for you, Jack?
9.
All right, bet. So let's say like tomorrow at like 10, 11 a.m.
I'm down.
Bet.
Yeah, that works.
Perfect.
All right, so I'm same setup. I'm gonna send out the invites on the chat. Encourage the other guys to jump in. You know, if Dylan wants to get in there, if Cody wants to get in there, people who are regular contributors to the IFFL, IFBO. Other than that, that's a wrap. So what we're gonna do, Phil and Jigs, you guys were recording.
Wait, do you want to do the 98 Bulls?
We'll save that for tomorrow if we have time, and then for the next. Well, what I think we should do for the trends is give everybody a couple minutes to speak their piece that we can debate, then cut it, then move on to the 98 Bulls. Or 96.
Sounds good.
Bet.
Perfect.
That way we don't have to discuss every topic.
I think the Bulls is
one,
actually perfect for tomorrow because the Last Dance comes out tomorrow, so that actually works perfectly. The Bulls tomorrow. Yeah.
Just so for another idea too, like for this one, we could have kind of chopped it up a little bit by saying, okay, here's the order. Give me your name. So for me, I would have said, okay, Giannis, defensive player. Mike Budenholzer, coach of the year. LeBron, MVP. Schroeder, sixth man. John Moran, rookie of the year. Spicy P, MIP. And then everyone gives their list. Jigs, you could write them down, and we could start.
I don't agree with that. I think the way we did it is better, but we just have to speed it up a lot because
we gotta
on a few of them.
Okay.
It's gotta let it flow.
The way we did it was a little bit better to keep everyone involved.
Okay, cool. I see that. All right, bet.
Okay.
All right,
So is that a wrap then?
That's the wrap. We'll come back at this tomorrow.
All right,
We'll see how
Jigs,
things go.
hit the outro.
Yeah, should we do something for like an outro so at least maybe we could cut it together, or because we kind of just
We have to. Ties off. Jigs is back.
Here's an outro. Here's an outro. Fuck the Patriots. That's an outro.
I ain't opposed.
Let the screen.
Love that.
All right. Thank you for tuning in. Stay healthy out there, but more importantly, stay ignorant.
Go Pats.
I love that.
Go Pats.
Easy. About Go Pats. Get off my screen.